Hey guys, Marsegan here bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so earlier today we got the data download for JP. Funny that this happens, we saw yesterday, right? We got the info in the news on both versions of the game about the new stage for the AGL Goku that came out last year for the April Fool's getting his awakening. We have more info in the data download about that, including the fact that he is going to be getting an EZA. But strangely, Global has not yet had the data download, and we've been past the time slot in the day where we would be getting it. So Global should get the data download tomorrow morning. However, some of this stuff in the review here is going to be applicable to both versions anyway. This is the JP data download from earlier today, so shout out to Proton as always for compiling the information into the one thread here. So some of this stuff will be relevant to Global and some of it won't, because some of it has the Toppo stuff in here, which of course is relevant for JP, including the new stages for Super Battle Road and Extreme Super Battle Road. But some of the stuff here is of course going to be for both versions at the same time. So we obviously have the intro movie. You know, every major celebration has these now, which I think is cool. I can't remember when it was that they started doing these. It was mainly for big, like, worldwide and stuff like that, right? But most Dokkan Fest now seem to get an intro, like, celebration animation thing like this, which is kind of cool. And then, of course, we have the physical Toppo himself, God of Destruction Toppo, his SSR, his TUR, and then, of course, his transformed art when he transforms into God of Destruction. And then we have the tech, is it Kata Pesla? I still have no idea how you're supposed to pronounce his name. I also don't really care. But this guy, the side banner unit for God of Destruction Toppo. And then we have the AGL Goku. So he gets his awakening and gets an EZA. You can see here he is going to be available on the 2nd at 6 AM. So this is slightly earlier than the usual release of these units and stuff for Global. Because Global, it's usually the 6:30 time slot. And then when things are on both versions at the same time, like for example the Super Vegeta EZA, that time slot is 8 AM GMT. So for anyone on Global, this is half an hour before events and banners come out usually. And for JP, this is 2 hours before events and banners usually come out. So if you're in the Pacific time, I think this is like 11 PM on the 1st. So that's when Goku's getting his awakening and EZA. Then we have a new Hercule statue being added in, which is worth 10 million Zenny. It is the Super Saiyan Hercule. So I'm going to do a separate video talking about that, talking about the April Fool's Day stuff. But that is definitely an interesting little nod to something that we could see. Then we have the new stage for the AGL Goku event. This is where you're going to get the medals that drop to awaken Goku into a TUR. Of course, that means his event returns, which the first stage you can farm the AGL SSJ Gokus, which is always good to do, because any future Super Saiyan Goku cards, you have the farmable SA for him. Obviously, you'll be able to get the second copy to SA5 to get the free S Super Attack 15, because, you know, you don't want to use Kais on a free-to-play farmable unit. If you have any left over, because I know a lot of people did grind a bunch of spare copies of this guy, I've already put, you know, one together for the SA5 copy. So then we just need to farm the medals, get him awakened, get him EZA'd, and then have the Super Attack 15. And we will do a showcase for him, of course. So then JP's also getting stage 78 of Super Battle Road Heavenly Events. That'll be interesting. I mean, AGL Super Boo is on there and is an AoE unit. So depending who the enemies are, if he's up against the right enemies to have his guard, it should be really good. So AGL Super Boo will definitely feast in that stage. Stage 55 of Extreme Super Battle Road is Android/Cell Saga. Kind of perfect timing for JP with the release of the new Vegeta. So the Android/Cell Saga team, with all its recent additions and EZAs, that should be a fairly straightforward Super Battle Road stage, even for the no items. Units like Int 16 being very strong defensively. Then we have the Extreme Z area. This is, of course, for the Goku. We did see the thing in the JP news about the Extreme Z area for the free-to-play April Fool's units coming back. That hasn't been in the news for Global yet, but we should hopefully see that tomorrow, potentially with the Goku and Hirudegarn teasers as well. And so, yeah, this will be an extra stage on the Extreme Z area for those previous free-to-play characters. Goku gets his EZA, so obviously this is where you get those Extreme Z Awakened medals from. this is what they look like, of course. And then, yeah, you farm those from that stage. Then there's a new support memory boost upgrade stage for the Bond of Master and Disciple. I believe that is the orange. It's the Orange Films one with Gohan and Piccolo. Oh, yeah, there you go. There's the medals. The Orange Films one with the Gohan and Piccolo, which currently is Bond of Master and Disciple allies, attack and defense 10% for 2 turns. I'm not sure. Do we know what the details are when it gets its buff? Right, they're literally right here. For 3 turns, it's key 1, attack and defense 20 for all allies in the Bond of Master and Disciple or Joined Forces category. So that one's interesting. I mean, some of these support memories where they just give support for a couple of turns, I mean, they're okay, especially for things like Super Battle Road or shorter events, but they're, of course, not as good as the permanent buff ones or even some of the heal ones for the harder content, but that's coming to JP. And then, of course, Toppo gets a Dokkan event with the medals, and then there's some assets there as well. So we do know for the Goku EZA, we do have the details for what he does. This is the sort of like poorly translated by Google Translate version where they don't use all the exact words that Dokkan uses, but his leader skill is Goku Family 3 key 77%, which makes sense, right, considering that is the usual free-to-play post-EZA leader skill for these free-to-play units, right? 77%. So that's basically what we would expect. Then his super attack is still greatly raised attack and defense for 1 turn. He now does immense damage instead of supreme and recovers 10% HP instead of 5%. So that's very good. Very, very good super attack effect. Like, this could easily be a Dokkan Fest, like, super attack, right? Greatly raised attack and defense, immense damage, recovers 10% HP. Very, very good super attack effect. Definitely not going to complain about that. And then his passive, he now has an intro, so I will show you guys the intro animation after this as well. He has an intro animation. If you have an Earthbred Fighters character on your team, you get the entrance animation. For 4 turns, allies get 1 key. I'm not sure what this is, and you will participate in the attack. I think that just means all allies on the turn get 1 key. Recovers 10% HP at the end of the turn. It's kind of a weird, that's all his intro, but I suppose it is for 4 turns, which is quite cool. All allies get an extra key, and you recover HP at the end of the turn. It's kind of cool, especially if the HP recovery is for the multiple turns as well. Then he gets attack and defense 159%, which I believe is the same. But then instead of an additional 41% on super, he gets 100% on super, which is very good. On super buffs are multiplicative. So him having that and having the 50% raise on super is really good. And then at the start of the turn, if you are at 90% or less HP, you recover 10% HP. That's an increase by, I think, 5%. He guards all attacks when HP is below 60%. Now, his passive before was 60% or less at the start of the turn. He has a high chance to guard. So now, at 60% or less, he has guaranteed guard, which is really, really good. And then you recover an additional 15% HP when HP is below 30%. He always activates an additional super. So if you're at 30% or less HP, you get a guaranteed additional, which is really good. Does he have that in here? No, he just has the extra HP. I'm looking at his pre-EZA version on my actual phone. The pre-EZA version, he just has the extra healing if you're at 30% or less. So getting the extra super is really good. Then he gives Bond of Master and Disciple, Bond of Parent and Child allies 2 key and attack and defense 30%. It was 20% before, so that's really good. And then if you have a Goku family ally in the rotation and you guard, you get 30% damage reduction and an extra 59% attack when performing a super. So he got the damage reduction when guarding with a Goku family ally before, which the good thing about that now is if you're at the 60% or less HP, the guard is guaranteed, because it will always kind of annoying being at the HP threshold and not getting the guard, because then he also doesn't get the damage reduction. So this guy, it very much seems to me like he'll be in a similar kind of situation as the AGL Super Vegeta, where if he comes onto the turn and you're on full HP, then whilst he could still be decent, he's not going to be anywhere near as good because he's not going to have the guard, so he's not going to have the damage reduction. But if you come into the turn on 60% or less HP, he's going to be really, really good. So I definitely think he has potential. And then this is the intro animation and also his super attack effect on here as well. So Goku, Gohan and Krillin The intro animation is actually very, very cool. Very decent quality. And then this is his super attack animation at the end, which I think is still just the same. It's weird that this preview doesn't show the enemy sprite at all, but I think the super attack animation is the same. But there you go. That is the AGL Goku with his EZA for the April Fools. It's kind of funny because the April Fools units have often been sort of like jokey, sort of comedy picks, whereas this guy is not only a decent pick with it just being a Super Saiyan Goku, but he's also seemingly really good, especially for a free-to-play unit. So I'm looking forward to trying him out on some of these teams and seeing how good he will be. Of course, for Global, it's going to be kind of interesting because we still really only have difficult content that he's not going to be super crazy against. But as long as he's not on turn 1, like if you go into Fusion Zamasu, lose like 40% HP on turn 1 and then he's on turn 2, he definitely could be very, very good, right? Having that damage reduction and guard. And of course, if you're ever on 30% or less HP, not only do you get a bunch of extra healing, but then he gets a guaranteed additional super, and his super attack is 50% raised to attack and defense. So he certainly has the potential to be very, very good. But that's all the stuff in the data download. If there's anything interesting or different in Global's one outside of the Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Hirudegarn stuff, then of course I will let you guys know tomorrow when Global gets the data download. But for now, that is the info that we have in the JP one. Some information there relevant for Global as well, but that is the information we have going into the start of April Dokkan Fest for JP and the April Fool's Day stuff for both versions as well. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. What do you think of the Goku? If you're on JP, are you hyped for Toppo? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.